Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reckless Paradise podcast. I'm your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is another breakdown episode. Yes, two breakdowns in 2 weeks. And we're keeping with the Foo Fighters theme here. This one is I guess a long time coming. Um, since it has been, it'll be, next year will be the 30th anniversary of this album. We're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary, or no, 20th, I guess, well, yeah, 29th year anniversary of this album. Because next year will be 30. We are going to be talking about the color and the shape. This one is actually going to be an interesting one. Because I'm just going to be ranking these off of how I felt when I listened to these songs. But most notably, um, three of these songs are on this album: Monkey Wrench, My Hero, and Everlong. Three of these songs I do play kind of a lot. Um, and I mean, it's actually they're really good songs. And I mean, if you know how it does here, the breakdown is where we take all the songs and we rank them from 1 to 10, and then we take all of the songs and get that number and divide it by however many songs, and we get that final grade. So let's get started with song number one. It is called Doll. When I first listened to this song or going into it, is very, I wouldn't say eerie. I mean, it was kind of eerie, but it was just kind of like one of the songs where it's just like, okay, like we're sure enough with this, and I really don't really know what to really think about it. Um, but I mean, I think it was a good opener for what it was. Um, and I would say, you know, if they wanted to, they could have just started off with um Monkey Wrench first to kind of like get like that high impact sort of style sort of thing. Um, so like the meaning of Doll, it is a brief, haunting acoustic interlude, written by Dave, Nate, and Pat, of the respectable instruments here, because at the time, Pat, Nate, and Dave, they were just a trio. They didn't have, the former drummer, Taylor Hawkins yet. Um, and the song explores fear, regret, and the masking of insecurity. Which I mean, that's kind of true. We all fear that and all that stuff. Because this is like the narrator confesses, I've never been so scared. After a long history of shared experiences, suggesting this moment is uniquely intense. The phrase "doll me up in my bad luck" is central. It metaphorically describes putting on a brave or performative facade while being passively dressed in misfortune, implying a loss of control and a sense of being manipulated by fate. We've all been through that before. I would say, not me personally, but just I guess in general. Um, not going into it, it's not the biggest like I would say like it's not the best like starting off point, I would say. Um, but if I had to give it a rating, um, I guess I would say maybe Doll gets like a 7 out of 10. Like I know that's kind of low for like the first damn song, but the next song Going into song number two, it is Monkey Wrench, and it is like one of my all-time favorite songs. It's like, I mean, it does get replayed a lot sometimes, but hey, like that replayability is still good though. um, and especially for '97. Um, so this song is about realizing one's role in a toxic relationship and choosing to break free, symbolized by refusing to be a monkey wrench in someone's life. But context here, this was inspired by Dave's first marriage to Jennifer Youngblood, which was ending at the time of that writing of the song, which makes sense. And kind of like being self-aware in your own role, like in his own role in the relationship, but then also to both free himself and his partner from that toxic dynamic. It says Grohl had described it as a soul-searching inward reflection, which, truth be told, we all have to do that sometimes. We have to do a moment of self-reflection in today's day and age too. I mean, I'll say this from from the heavens. Monkey Wrench has always been a 10 out of 10 song for me. I no matter what. Um, and like I said, like replay, replayability wise, like yeah, it does get sometimes it does get overplayed for some people. Um, but not really for me. Um, if that's saying anything. Um, and plus, like when me and Marissa had we used to do MTV nights sometimes. And sometimes when uh either Monkey Wrench or My Hero comes on, she goes, "Hey, it's your song." I'm like, "Yep, yep, it is." Man, I miss those days. Um, so going on to song number three, it is "Hey Johnny Park." Um, this one was a kind of a I wouldn't say it's a silent hit, but it's more of a like silent killer sort of thing. And that's not a bad slight on it. It just means like I didn't think much of it going into it, and then I was completely blown away by what I heard. So, on to song number three, Hey Johnny Park. Um, like I said, this one was kind of like a silent killer for me a little bit. But this one is a song with emotional tension, for longing, regret, and the fear of betrayal in a relationship. Starting to sense a theme here. um, so the title references, Dave's childhood friend Johnny Park, someone he hadn't heard from since he was about 14. Reportedly thought naming the song after him might prompt contact. Says while the name was personal, the song's meaning is more universal and focusing on uh, distant affection. Let's just say that. Um, Sort of like talking about, like it says, the core themes is like longing, regret, fear, betrayal, emotional duality, mood and uncertainty, and then self-sacrifice on top of that. Uh, when I had first heard the song, um, I like I had said, like I didn't really think about what it was like going into it. But after like further like hearing it and all that stuff, I gave it a an 8.5 out of 10. Um, I think it's only because maybe I didn't really give it the proper chance to get me to that point. Um, I mean, some of these songs, I'm like, okay, like, what is this one about, sort of thing. But I think like that is. the power of music in a nutshell. Because like if you don't give it a chance and then you kind of just put it off to the wayside, like whatever, fuck it, and then come back to it like years later and like okay, like I guess I should have given it a proper chance than I gave it credit for. Then it's like okay. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for Hey Johnny Park. On to the next song. It is song number 4. It is My Poor Brain. So this deals with inner turmoil, emotional disconnect, and the yearning for change. Don't we all? We love yearning for change here in America. So this is a raw, introspective song that blends personal vulnerability with the pressures of fame. Don't we all? Don't we all know that? It's been described as a experiment with dynamics shifting between dreamy and aggressive tones. So, keeping the limelight is like saying like real life is so hard. Hide we hide in the stars, just in retreating into the glamour of stardom to avoid reality. And then mental and emotional confusion is like the repeated blackout metaphor. Um, represents a loss of control, overwhelm, and desire to forget the pain. So like some of the symbolism, like I said, stars. Um, because it says a metaphor for fame, escape in the public persona versus private self. Um, because like in show business, you see like you have the performer and then you have the person behind that performer, like in and behind the camera. And there's some of these, like I was talking about, um, uh, in your favorite toy, about no, like child actors and all that stuff. Kind of just being like, some of these childhood actors, like they grow up to do good big things in life, but then it's like they kind of get taken for granted because it's like that's what they're known for, not being an adult actor doing adult things in adult films and all that crap. They always think about, well, I remember you when you were like this small and you were in this film and all stuff. It's like, yeah, 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 okay, like yeah, like, but can we talk about my current stuff, like the stuff that I am actually known for? And not a lot of people do that. Um, so given this song, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Um, I think it's one of those songs that I would have to listen to on repeat sometimes, maybe to kind of get like a good feel for it and all that crap. Um, and just like kind of experience it for what it is and not what it was. Um, Speaking of like, I guess talk about the childhood actor thing. Um, that brought up a good point in the core themes of this song here of My Poor Brain. Talking about like real life is so hard we hide in the stars. Because behind the glitz and the glamour, outside of that, real life for some of those childhood actors and actors in general, it's so um it is so, I guess, hard for those people to do that sort of thing. Because not a lot of people get to have the luxury of having a normal life outside of superstardom. Because, when they get caught up on it, and it's just kind of like, oh, well, shit, like, I don't know really what to do because, my mom or dad or both didn't teach me how to do a normal life. because all I know is this, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to just flip off that switch and just be a normal human for a day. Um, so before I go on a tangent here, talk about song number 5. It is "Wind Up." This one was a song that I did not really know much of until I had heard it. And I was like, okay, I remember that song. So this is a raw, raw, confrontational track that blends personal vulnerability with a defiant streak. Is often interpreted as both the anthem of the disaffected and a confession of inner turmoil. Don't we all? Don't we all? So some of the core like themes here is like inner conflict and pressure to conform, fear of judgment, authenticity, self-doubt and vulnerability, relational tension, and defiance and resilience. I think that kind of sums it up. If I can speak, sums it up a little bit to like overall theme here. Um, as an overall grade for it, though, mm, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Um, like some of these songs, like I would have to listen to again, and that's not slight on any of the songs as as they are. Um, but I think like listen to them again for like the second or third time, whatever. It's like it'll help like I guess broaden my horizons a little bit, which is good. Um, so going on to song number 6, it is "Up in Arms." This one was I wouldn't say it was an interesting one. Um, the song title is kind of interesting, but I would say like some of the songs on this album was kind of just odd. I would say not odd, but just bizarre, I guess. Um, so this was a song about love, reconciliation, and the emotional turbulence of relationships, reflecting both regret and renewed commitment. Wow, this is like another song about love. I would say like the overall theme is kind of like love in stuff. Like I said in the your favorite toy breakdown, um, it's like a roller coaster. You got the highs and you got the lows. Um, and this is not no different. So it also explores the complexities of romantic relationships, particularly the circles of separation and reunion. The lyrics depict a love that has endured challenges, with the narrator acknowledging past mistakes while expressing a desire to repair and strengthen the bond. The song conveys themes of vulnerability, accountability, and the enduring power of connection. Wow, that actually really sums it up. In terms of overall score for this one, I gave it a 8.5 out of 10. Um, I think for me, I think it's like I would have to listen to it more. Some of these songs I would probably have to listen to again, but I mean, that's no biggie. Like I love listening to music, and music has a way to connect people to I guess all different types of like walks of life. Um, and some people they use music for healing, or they'll use music for getting their anger out, or they'll use music for whatever they want to. Um, and that's what the beauty of music is. That's what the beauty of music is. So going on to song number 7, it is My Hero, instant classic already. Um, like I said, off of this album, I think, I think Hey Johnny Park was a single. My Hero was a single. Everlong was a single, and Monkey Wrench was a single. So four singles off the bat, right there, off the album for '97. Hey, that's pretty freaking good, you know. And also at the time, why like I was talking about Dave, Nate, and Pat. They were a trio. Dave was doing the drums on this record. And then the next year, like I think 3 years later, in 2099 or something like that, that's when Pat had left the group, and then it was just Taylor, Nate, and Dave doing the trios thing and doing their thing. And the rest is history with that. And then Pat comes back in eventually. Comes back. Um, so the song "My Hero" celebrates the concept of everyday heroism, emphasizing that true heroes are often ordinary people who inspire and make a positive impact in their communities, which is true. Like ordinary heroes, um, like it could just be Joe Schmo down the street, and just rescuing somebody from like a burning building or something. Um, some people have probably speculated that the song was about maybe Kurt Cobain, but it's not really about him. It was just about celebrating the ordinary, common man and his extraordinary potential. The ambiguity of the lyrics and all that stuff is like saying, allowing listeners to attribute their own meanings, which, truth be told, hey, that's kind of cool. I give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, automatically, obviously. Another one of those songs that's like super high on that list too. I think we did when Marissa was still on the podcast and all that stuff before she had taken a break. We did a random ranking for Foo Fighters songs back in the day, and I think My Hero was on there. I think either that or Everlong or Monkey Wrench or either any of those three. Um, I mean, yeah, it's still high up on my list to this day too. So on to song number 3. We have "See You." This was kind of like a breath of like not fresh air, but kind of just like slows it down a little bit. I actually kind of liked it. Excuse me. So, "See You" by Foo Fighters explores themes of introspection, emotional complexity, and the bittersweet nature of relationships, particularly in the context of longing and unresolved feelings. Don't we all? So like the recurring line is like, only knew how good it is to see you," serves as an anthem to the joy and pain intertwined in reunions. It emphasizes the sincerity or sensory experience of seeing someone significant, evoking a wave of feelings that are difficult to articulate. The song captures the complexity of these emotions, allowing listeners to relate to their own experiences of longing and closure to the narrative. I mean, that's what music's all about, having your own interpretation to something. It helps you kind of like, I guess, be in that mindset, and it kind of helps you just be like, okay, well, I can relate to this, I can relate to that. um that's why I've always said music's always good about doing that. um I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm sorry, 9.5 out of 10. um and I think it was like one of those songs that it can put you into a good mood. I would say a good mood. Um, which some songs nowadays, it can't really do that much. But Hey, with 1997 Foo Fighters, hey, more power to them. So, on to song number 9. We have Enough Space. Um, this was actually I would say a breath of fresh air too. It was short, high energy track that blends personal longing with the metaphor for the struggle of room or for room, recognition, and freedom in a crowded world. That that resonates with me a lot because there's a lot of like in wrestling terms, they always say there's always that glass ceiling, and not a lot of people can break through that glass ceiling. Not a lot of people, but there's always that one person or two people or whoever that can break through it and go on to bigger and better things in life. But like then you have some of those people that are like lower on the card, but they're trying to work their way up. So it's kind of like you gotta make room for to get recognized in that world, in the wrestling world. And you gotta just work from the bottom and make it to the top. Um, and I would say that's like a good message to kind of say to people, like yeah, like that glass ceiling for you, it's like it might not be enough for you, but then like if you break through it, then you can just go straight to the top and all crap. um and hey, it's like it's only up from here. So, on to track number 10, we have February Stars. Or, I should say, Enough Space, I had given it a 9 out of 10. I'm sorry. Now, on to song number 10. This is February Stars. When we did the uh, random ranking, I think, when we did that, I think February Stars was on that. And all that stuff, and she kept and Marissa kept putting it as like February wins. Um, and I was like, no, I was like, it's not February wins, it's February stars. um, I thought it was just kind of funny. Anyway, this is a reflective ballad. This is very rare for Foo Fighters. They don't really do much ballads. They do like some like high energy stuff. Um, and and just go, like balls to the wall and all that stuff, right? So this is exploring endurance, isolation, and the temporary nature of pain. It says written by Dave Grohl, Nate, and Pat. It shifts from the band's usual hard rock to a more introspective, soulful style, and it's always good to do that sometimes. Um, and it says the song uses February as a metaphor for a transitional, often bleak period. The last days of winter before spring. This mirrors the narrator's emotional state, stuck between past and future, watching someone else take center stage, and clinging to a fixed position while life moves on. Um, I mean, we can all relate to that. In some aspects, probably more than one. I gave February Stars. I gave it an 8.5. I kind of like the message that it has behind. Kind of like talking about the fleeting moments of winter before it becomes spring. Talked about emotional states, stuff between the past and the future, and all that stuff. I think it's actually a pretty cool message behind it. So on to song number 11. We are at Everlong. I mean, automatically, I just gave this a 10 out of 10. I mean, no doubts about it. Like, this is another song of mine that I love to this day. So, this is a deeply emotional love song. about the exhilaration of a perfect connection and the desire for that moment to last forever, forever long. um, so this was a during a turbulent point in Dave's life following his divorce from his first wife, Jennifer Youngblood, and the beginning of a new one with Louise Post of Veronica Salt. Um, which I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Um, this song captures the feeling of completely in sync with someone, where emotional and spiritual harmony creates a sense of timelessness. The title itself, Everlong, signif- signifies a longing for a moment or connection to endure indefinitely. Um, well, I mean, that's true. The exhilaration of a perfect connection and the desire for that moment to last forever. That's with a lot of people, I would say. Because like not a lot of moments, like no moment can last forever. It's always that um it's always that one thing where it's like when you see somebody so beautiful, it's like it makes time stand still. It's always that kind of explanation sort of thing. I think that's what kind of like feels with like Everlong sort of thing too. But yeah, I mean, still a good song. Um, so going to song number 12, we have Walking After You. So this was like still talking about Dave and his first wife, Jennifer Youngblood. Um, so it says this song was composed in 96 to 97, shortly after receiving divorce papers. The breakup came just like months after Kurt Cobain's death. Which that's like a 1-2 punch right there for Davy Boy. Um, and Grohl was navigating both personal loss and professional uncertainty. He described it as an emotional, sappy song about getting dumped. um, but it also as a testament in his ability to let go. Um, mm, like I, I feel like we've all probably been there in our lives at some point to go after or not trot after but go after somebody that is talking about like love and it's his devotion and even in the face of separation like that devotion to that person sort of thing. um I mean it's still a pretty good song too. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Just kind of talking about that personal background thing, like I didn't know about that. Um, but like some of these songs are dealing with the Jennifer Youngblood thing, which I think it's still kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, I mean, still a good song, and we have two more songs to go. Yes. So on to song number 13. We have New Way Home. Um, Going into this one, I really did not know what to think of it. But then learning what the meaning is, it gives me more respect for it. So, this song blends personal vulnerability with a defiant sense of resilience, exploring themes of self discovery, fear, control, and the search for a meaningful path in life. So, like the core themes of it, it says the song captures the weariness of constant motion and the feeling of being lost in a down and out state, where time seems to slip away faster than it can be grasped. The narrator moves head down, always moving on, suggesting a life in motion without clear arrival. This reflects both the exhaustion of trying to maintain control and the uncertainty of direction. It's true. The fear and self-deprecation part of it, the is a central motif is the repeated line, I'm not scared, which acts as a mantra to push through fear. This could be a defense mechanism against deeper anxieties, the fear of failure, the unknown, or not living up to expectations. The line, I'll never tell you the secrets I'm holding. Hence, emotional restraint, possibly to protect others or to avoid vulnerability. But the overall message of it is like the song is both vulnerable and defiant. It acknowledges fear, secrecy, and the comfort of limits, but ends with a resolve that keep moving forward. It's about bracing the unknown, confronting inner struggles, and finding a personal path despite the chaos. And then it says, in short, New Way Home is a reflection on the emotional and psychological journey of an artist or anyone navigating life's uncertainties, holding on to control, and choosing to keep going despite the fear. Hmm. All right. Well, um, knowing all of that, I had given it a 8.5 out of 10. Um, knowing all of that, it gives me more. I wouldn't say it wouldn't. What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't. It gives me more of a good insight into like it, if you want to think about it like this, it gives you a good insight on like how somebody like if you were if you're being bullied, whatever. Um, because you just never know what's going on at home, because there's always two sides to every story. There's always that side where it's like they tell the police this side of the story, but then it's like behind that, it's always like that's not really the true story, sort of thing. Um, and I think it's a pretty good, personal message thing. Is a reflection on the emotional and psychological journey of of an artist or anyone in general. Which, truth be told, that's everybody nowadays. But yeah, I think that's a good semi closer. But now onto the main closer. So, on to the final track of the Color in the Shape, self titled track, Color in the Shape. And going into this one, it's the closer. I was thinking kind of just like, okay, just kind of just go into it, no thoughts or anything. And it explores the themes of identity, self discovery, and personal transformation, reflecting the complexities of human emotions and experiences. So, like with the identity and self discovery thing, the lyrics often delve into the struggles of finding one's place in the world. Phrases like, you're a real short ride, and you're a teacher's pet, suggest feelings of inadequacy, inadequacy, sorry, some of these words, and the desire for validation. This reflects the internal conflicts many face as they navigate societal expectations and personal aspirations, judgment, and critique. The recurring lines in the song highlight the harsh self-judgment and external criticisms individuals often endure. The phrase "color and the shape" symbolizes the faceted nature of life, indicating that existence is not merely black and white, but filled with various experiences that shape our identities. And then the escape and transformation. The mention of Riverboy and the desire to run away can symbolize a yearning for freedom from societal constraints, usually like societal norms too. This reflects a common human desire to seek authenticity and meaning, even if it means stepping away from the norm, which, like I was saying, societal norms. So, with that being said, I give it a 9 out of 10. Good closer. Um, for me, if I was rearranging um the the songs, for me, I would have probably started off with either Monkey Wrench or Everlong, and then maybe could have ended with My Hero, would have given it a more punch, like an ending punch sort of thing. Um, Not to say that Doll was a good opener, but I think for me, if I was listening to it, I would have maybe either started with, like I said, Monkey Wrench or maybe Hey Johnny Park or something. Something that would kind of like make me as the consumer and listener to this album maybe make it feel more, I guess, not it's like what is the word I'm looking for here? It's like it doesn't make it more, I guess, complex if I'm trying to put it here. Um, but I think it's just like from a consumer standpoint or a listener standpoint, I think like getting your album started off with a huge punch and then ends with that punch, I think it would have like made it a little bit more, I guess, digestible, if you want to call it that. Because Doll, the first song on the damn album, it just starts off kind of eerie, and then the next song is kind of like it's like really in your face. If you started off like that and go with like Monkey Wrench or even My Hero, to be honest with you, I think it would have been more of an impact. I think for me, um, but I'm not the person that put the songs together, so I'm not the person that put the songs together. So, um, yeah. So I am going to tally up all the scores and then get that number, and I will be right back. All right. So I tallied up all the scores, divided it by 14, and I got 88.9, but I'm gonna round it up to a 89. Solid B, solid B. Um, I mean, what else is there to say about this album? It's like one of those albums that still holds up to this day. Um, like I said, like if I could move some songs around, I would have. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. But I will say that the color and the shape as a whole, as an album, you know, next year will be 30 years. And the 30th anniversary, of that album, hopefully, maybe they could probably come out with like a deluxe edition sort of thing, or maybe a 30th anniversary thing of it. That'd be kind of cool. Um, but the songs that are on this album still hold up to this day, like Monkey Wrench, like Hey Johnny Park, like Wind Up, like My Hero, like with Everlong, and New Way Home too. Like that's usually a good solid hit. It's a sleeper hit too, because not a lot of people will think of like a lot of those other ballad songs. Um, but that's why we do this podcast, and we kind of shed light on some of these things and some of these songs and albums and all that stuff, some of the obscure stuff. So, if you made it to the very end of this video, we do really appreciate it. Thank you for listening and or watching. If you are not subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? You gotta be subscribed to this channel. Um, and it's always free. You can always unsubscribe at any point in the future. But why would you do that? Because we talk about wrestling stuff. We talk about music. We talk about movies. We talk about other things. Video games and all that crap. Um, but um, you know, like I said, if you made it to the very end of this video, we do really appreciate it. Uh, if you want to follow us on all social media, links in the description below, which will take you to our Linktree page, which will take you to our Instagram pages, Twitter pages, the podcast, Reddit page is on there. My gaming YouTube channel is on there. I'm close to, at the time of recording, I'm at 2384. I think I'm right. I mean, I had a huge upswing in like the last few months of this year. I've already been over 2,000 in I think 2 months. And it's only up from here. Hopefully can make it to 2,500 maybe by the end of this year. I don't really know for sure. Um, and tonight's song of the night, it is going to be from Foo Fighters, obviously. Um, and I'm gonna go with My Hero. The video in itself is actually self-explanatory. And it does feature Dave, Nate, and Taylor, but it does have the guitars that they used to have while Pat was away, and who replaced him. And then that's before they had Guy and Chris at that point too. So it's gonna be kind of weird, to see not Pat or not Chris in that video. But hey, it's Foo Fighters and it kicks ass. So thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys for Shoot the Shit, which will be this Sunday, 24th. Don't miss it. See you later, everybody. Peace.